Welcome, everybody, to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, episode number 194. And coming up on this one, the Leafs have won 7 straight. First time they've done that in 20 years. Impressive 4-3 win over Colorado to wrap up their best road trip in years. Bertuzzi gets a hat trick on his birthday. Domi gets his 400th career point. Samsonov looked very strong in net. And an update on Joseph Woll. And we got one segment tonight. Been a while since we've done this one. Wet puck or dry stick. All this and more on 194 of the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast.
You get a hat trick. 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 Tyler Bertuzzi says, let me get in on the hat trick action. First Leaf ever to bury 3 goals on his birthday. The Toronto Maple Leafs just keep on rolling their longest winning streak, like you just said, in 20 years. Let's hit the intro.
Tavares coming out, sends it in a goal. They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round! Do you believe this? Holy mackerel!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast. I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
Don't forget, follow us on social media at the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Tip In Podcast on TikTok, Tip In Pod on Twitter. Email us tipinpodcast@gmail.com. All right, Dale. How do you want to do this? How you feeling? Are you feeling good? Feeling a little rough?
You kidding? No, I'm feeling fine, man. Like, I'm feeling like, I don't know, I'm still a little taken back by what we're watching here. And let's not go, okay, look, like, let's not go crazy here, but not an easy win against Colorado last night. They did not look great at times, but they win it in regulation. Bertuzzi gets a hat trick, so still a lot of good things. They keep the point streak or the win streak going, 7 straight games. They just banked 14 straight points.
Wow.
8-2 in their last 10 games. I mean, there's just so many things to like, man. I don't know. Do you want to touch on a couple things quickly, and then we'll kind of get into Bertuzzi and a couple other things? Like, what are your initial thoughts here? The train just keeps on rolling.
Yeah. I mean, it's all positive.
It's all positive.
It's all positive. Everything is just looking good. They're getting the breaks. They're playing great hockey. They're getting the wins. They're putting the points in the bank. All the things, like Samsonov's in the net, and he looks like Samsonov from last year. You have Joseph Woll is coming back, played amazing. We're going to get to it later, but he played amazing down with the Marlies. All 4 lines are rolling. The defense looks good. I don't know. I am not used to this.
No.
I'm not used to coming on this podcast with this much positivity.
No, never. It's just not a thing because they can't consistently play like this. And like I said, not exactly their best game in Colorado, but it was the end of the road trip. They had played so well, and
Colorado's a great team.
And the Leafs didn't look their best. Like, I think they only had 2 shots in the third period, but at the end of the day, they come out of there with a 4-3 regulation win. It's impressive, man. There's just no other way to look at it. But so a big 4-3 win over one of the best teams in the league, the Colorado Avalanche. Just like I said last podcast, what an absolutely incredible stretch of hockey that this team is on. And again, like, not easy. They were down 2-0 in that game against Colorado, and they fought back and made it interesting. And I don't love the 2 shots in the third period, but some timely goals on the power play. And there you go, man. Like, 7 wins in a row, like you said off the top, longest winning streak in over 20 years. That's a pretty crazy stat, right? Like, it's only I know 7 games is a lot. I understand that, but it's not like 10 plus, right? Like, are you not a little surprised that they haven't had, through the Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander years, this team hasn't won 7 games in a row? It's a little surprising, is it not?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought when I heard that stat. I was like, what? I mean, just they've had 115 point seasons. They've been over 100 points like every year with this group. And you think in that time you'd have 7 games. It doesn't seem like 7's that many.
No, I know, but it is, though. It is, but
when you have a 115-point season, you think somewhere along the line you must have had like a 10-game winning streak.
Dude, in this league, the parity and all that, like it's hard to win 2, 3, 4 in a row, right? Like it just is.
Yeah.
There's no nights off. There's no easy nights here. It doesn't matter who you're playing. So it just makes it more impressive. So anyway, they haven't lost, Chad. The last game they lost was, do you know off the top of your head? I know I have it right here. I'm just asking if you know off the top of your head. Think about it. The last game they lost was
Ottawa. Yeah.
Right.
Because they didn't lose a game with Morgan Riley out of the lineup.
No, I know. So that's when Riley took the suspension. And it's like, is that the turnaround point that we're going to look back here and be like, they shit the bed in Ottawa, but Riley sticks up for his team, takes the suspension, and they haven't looked back since. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe we'll look back at this whole thing and be like, that was it. That was the night where they decided to get their fucking shit together. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
It looks that way right now. It really does. But a lot of things. But obviously, we got to go to Bertuzzi, man. So he gets a hat trick on his birthday, playing on the top power play. So still no Tavares on the top power play. And all of a sudden, the puck's starting to go in the net here for Bertuzzi. What are your thoughts?
Oh, it was a long time coming. That's what my thoughts are.
Man.
You know, he's had his chances during that drought. He had lots of chances. He was due for a night like this.
He really was.
And yeah, there's not much you can really say. He's been doing that all season. He's kind of been getting in the right spot, but he's been hitting posts or shooting it at the goalie, and he was putting it in the net last night.
But a lot of those goals were in the right place at the right time, which is good. Like hockey IQ to be in the right spots. But you know, Marner setting them up and like guys setting them up, right? Where he's just tapping them home, just tapping them in.
And last year in the playoffs for Boston, he did that. Like that's what he did.
He was great on their power play.
But he cleaned up the garbage in front of the net.
He did.
So he should be there. He looked good.
And usually
crazy.
I was just going to say, usually Tavares, like he's taken Tavares' spot on that power play. Usually Tavares can do that, but now it looks like, how do you not run with Bertuzzi on it? Like you kind of have to, right?
Oh yeah, you have to run. Everything's working right now. Your power play is it's looking good. Your penalty kill's looking good. You have to run with everything that you're doing. You said it last podcast. You just keep rolling with this until it really falls off because it's working so well right now. And I feel bad for JT.
I do too, but
like he bumped off the second line, down on the third line, bumped off PP1.
But like I said last podcast too, like, do you think he really cares as long as the team keeps chugging, keeps winning? Do you think he really cares?
No, but I mean, there's got to be a sense of pride in there somewhere, right? You're the captain. You're making $11 million, and
I think he'll get a chance to be back there eventually. Yeah. But just for right now, you can't do it. You just cannot do it. Like it's
not the way it's working.
Like ride with Bertuzzi, and I think like even with the hat trick last night, Chad, I think he's only got 10 goals on the season, which is absolutely crazy number that he hasn't buried more than 10 goals. But anyway, man, it's great to see, and hopefully that is a start of something. So he's got to be feeling a lot better about his game now. Like coming off a hat trick, he's going to the dirty areas. So hopefully he can build on this, because wouldn't it be nice? Now, Domi ends up getting his 400th career point last night as well. So, and he's looked a hell of a lot better as of late. So I know we're talking the power play there and what have you, the first power play unit, but I'll take it to the second line too with Domi, Bertuzzi, and Nylander. Like, I don't know, man. Like, just wouldn't it be nice if like finally here we are coming to like the last quarter mark of the season, and if Bertuzzi and Domi, who have been disappointments throughout the first 3 quarters of the season, if these guys can finally start putting it together and really helping this team at the right time, like, just wouldn't that be exactly what the doctor ordered here, or what?
Yeah, this is why they were brought in. This was all the talk in the summer. Like, they weren't brought in. They were brought in for crunch time.
Yeah.
So the trade deadline is going to come in just a couple weeks. And after that, it's basically crunch right until the playoffs. So if they start getting it going now, that's what you brought them in for. That's what and we've said this all year. If Bertuzzi and Domi show up at this time of year and in the playoffs, no one will give a shit how many points they had in the regular season or what they did. If they just perform this time of year and in the playoffs. And it's looking like that's what they're doing.
Yeah. So anything more on Bertuzzi?
No, just he looked dynamite.
Can you think of the last time? Like, you think about how many hat tricks Matrix.
That's it. There you go, Austin Matrix.
There you go. Just didn't even mean to say it, but it makes total sense. You think about how many hat tricks Matthews has had this season, and other guys throwing in hat tricks now. McMahon, Bertuzzi. Can you recall? Like, I can recall going full seasons where we wouldn't see one. Like,
I know now everybody's just getting them.
Like fucking Oprah Winfrey, man. You get a hat trick. You get a hat trick.
Look under your seat. There's a hat trick under there.
Like hat tricks forever. I wouldn't be surprised if JT comes home on Tuesday night and he fires in a hat trick. Like, don't forget about me here, boys. You never know, right?
You don't.
Like, anyway, it's crazy. It's great to see. And yeah, hopefully they keep chugging. They'll be back home on Tuesday to play Vegas and then Arizona, 3-game homestand. Vegas, Arizona, and the New York Rangers. So should be interesting. No easy games, like I said, but hopefully they can keep rolling. We'll
but see. I thought this road trip was going to be difficult.
It was a difficult road trip, but they made it look easy.
Well, they got all the points. Like, normally they don't play good against Arizona. You go into Vegas. Vegas has got to be one of the toughest places to play on the road for 100%. All the reasons that we know. And then you go into Colorado, one of the best teams, at the end of your road trip. So, yeah, they have a tough schedule. They have a tough schedule from now until the end of the season. But you keep playing like this, you are going to win the majority of the games. And it is not out of the question to chase second in the division or maybe even top in the division.
With multiple games left against the Panthers / Cougars, multiple games left against the Bruins, I think the division is still open. The way it would not be if they went just like 500 here, but because they're just winning every night, it's still a possibility, man. Yeah. And very impressive as well is like, no, I thought that game last night had overtime written all over it. No overtime wins here. Throughout the 7-game win streak, I'm pretty sure every win was in regulation, which was great because how many times earlier in this season was it? It seemed like almost every other night, overtime. Yeah.
And we talked about that at the start of the year. That was the reason why we were always like, yeah, you know, they're in a playoff spot, but we didn't really believe that they would do any damage in the playoffs because they were blowing leads and going to overtime, or they were giving up huge leads and then crawling back into the game. But this has been convincing win.
Oh, big time.
It just feels different when you're watching them.
It really does, man. So, lastly here, before maybe we go to the segment, unless you got anything else, I got a couple things towards the end after the segment, but Samsonov, you touched on him briefly. I mean, dude, look at, we got to take a couple minutes on Samsonov here. Look how far this guy has come. Like seriously, look at this. This guy was a loss away from being far. He was a loss away from being buried. Completely buried. Robidas.
He was on waivers, man.
On waivers. No one claimed the guy. Down to the Marlies. Didn't play. We were all like, when they called him back up, we're like, what are they doing? Are they going to put this guy back in the net? Yeah. He slowly but surely has found it. And he was an absolute key reason for me. He's been great as of late, but specifically last night in that Colorado game, I thought he was really good.
Yeah.
Want to take a minute on Samsonov because I don't think they win that game without him. I really don't.
No, that third period, it was
big saves.
It huge saves. And even the play at the very end of the game where John Tavares had the wide open net and didn't put it in the wide open net.
That was the puck just skipped.
I know, but he could have shot from the red line, the blue line, the top of the circle. He waited so long and the puck jumped off his stick. When that happened, I think everyone's like, here we go. Here we go. Colorado's coming back. But Samsonov
they did almost come down and score.
Exactly. But he made a routine, nice save, held on to the puck, end the game. Yep. That's what you ask out of Samsonov. He looks a lot like last year. Does he not? Like last year, he just gave you solid goaltending, and then every once in a while, he would stand on his head and steal you a game. And it's insane to think that just 2 months ago, we were doing this podcast being like, what do you do with this guy?
Oh.
Like, do you trade him? Do you put him on Robot? I can't believe it.
Yeah, I can't
believe it. I can't believe if you put this guy on waivers today, half the league would be lining up to take him off waivers, and he was on waivers before Christmas, and not one team wanted him.
Like, I thought there was a time there where I thought, like, you can't put this guy back in the net. There's no way. But they did, and he has come around significantly. And it's just, hey, man, good for him, good for his mental health, because that guy, he seems to wear it. He wears it. Like, if it's not going good, he wears it. But now Smiling Sam, he's back in the picture. He's winning games. And just his goal, I forget the two guys ahead of him, but he's top 3 since he's returned to game action or whatever, or since, I don't think it's the All-Star break, but maybe it was, I don't know. Let's just say since the All-Star break, he's got the 3rd best goals against average in the league. So he's doing it, man. He's getting it done. So it's great to see. Anything else on anything before we go to wet puck or dry stick?
No, let's go to the segment, because we'll probably touch on a bunch of things in the segment.
Well, hang on. I do want to say one thing here, because things have just been going so well. I think it's time for a little celebration here. We haven't heard from Belfour in a while. I think maybe this, if any time calls for it, I think this is it here. I think we got to get a little listen to Belfour spirits. The boys deserve to have a little bit of a, taste test with Eddie Belfour and Belfour spirits.
Let's bust it out. Let's hear from Eddie Belfour.
Hi, Ed Belfour here, Belfour Spirits.
Making some of the best whiskey in the world. We've been at this for 5 years, going on 6 years. And this is family operated. We go to work every day. We work on every aspect of this business. We take great pride, at watching people drink our whiskey and that big smile on their face. Like, wow, this is really, really good. That's what's so awesome, is when you see those people loving your whiskey. And it's like when I play the game, and at the end of the game, they're chanting my name. We just want to make really great tasting whiskey, and that's our goal. And, as it ages, it's only going to get better. We're very proud of that.
Buy a bottle and I'll sign it for you. Buy 2, I'll help you drink the second one. Have a great day.
He ain't kidding on that.
No, he's not.
He ain't kidding. Me and Dale, we bought a bottle, and then we bought 2, and he showed up. And he drank. Not only did he help us drink the second one, he drank the first one.
Leather jacket and all. Yeah, it was great, man. So great to hear from Eddie Belfour, our boy. Haven't heard from him in a while, but I think if any time called for it, it was tonight. I mean, 7 straight wins. Come on. Celebration. Little celebration here.
Longest Belfour spirits. Busted out.
Longest winning streak in over 20 years. It's crazy, man. So all good things here, but let's go right to it, man. Throw it to it. We'll go right to the seggy right here.
All right, everybody. It's time for wet puck or dry stick. Wet puck or dry stick. Wet puck. Dry stick. Wet puck. Dry stick. All right, so if you're not aware how this works is me and Dale are going to ask each other some questions, and you have to answer the question if that's a wet puck or a dry stick. A wet puck, that's a good thing. That you want the wet puck. Dry stick, not so good.
No.
That is a no-no.
No one likes a dry stick, Chad. No one likes a dry stick. Last time I checked. So the wetter, the better, folks. So here we go. How many you got here? I got like maybe 3. Maybe potentially 4. How many you got?
I got 3.
Okay, why don't you start us off?
All right. Dale, wet puck or dry stick? A couple months ago, we had a little debate on this podcast, and Dale was like, we were talking about William Nylander and Mitch Marner, and you said that, you were high that William Nylander was the second best forward on this team and would finish ahead of Mitch Marner with points, because at that time Nylander was just on a tear. Well, with 12 points in his last 5 games, Mitch Marner is now just 5 points back, 5 or 6 points back of William Nylander for the team leading points.
Yep.
Wet puck or dry stick, William Nylander will still be ahead of Mitch Marner at the end of the season.
I had the exact same question. I had the exact same question.
right.
Literally to a T. I was going to ask you, Mitch Marner.
Mitch has been on such a tear.
I was going to ask you, Mitch Marner will lead the team in scoring by the end of the regular season. Wet puck or dry stick. So here we go. We'll both answer.
Yeah, we'll do both right now.
So Nylander has 78 points currently as we speak. Matthews 77. So that he's first in the league in scoring. Nylander was 78.
First on the team.
On the team, Nylander first on the team in scoring with 78 points. Matthews second on the team with 77. Marner was 72. So the question, what was your question again?
My question is, do you like wet puck or dry stick? Because you said William Nylander would finish ahead of Mitch Marner with points. You said that a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Wet puck or dry stick, you still think that William Nylander will finish ahead of Mitch Marner?
Dry stick.
Oh,
dry stick. No.
A couple months ago, you were wet on this.
Yeah, well,
now you've gone dry.
You know who else was wet a couple months ago? William Nylander, very wet,
That's true. That is very true.
And he's damp. He's damp right now. He's not as wet as he was, but he's still damp. So considering he's still leading the team with 78 points, how good he was in the first half of the season. And it's possible. It's possible that he does, but. No, I'm a dry stick here on this. I do not believe Nylander will lead the team in scoring by the end of the season. I believe it will be Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner, I think, surpasses Austin and Nylander, and he will. It'll be Mitch and not Willie. So I'm a dry stick on that. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm a wet puck on Mitch Marner. Your question to me was, will Mitch Marner?
Yes.
Be at the top
Same
of the
question,
just
a slight twist.
Slight twist. Yeah. We don't go over these. These are surprise questions. We don't talk about these before. So sometimes this happens where we have similar questions. Yeah. But yeah, I am a wet puck because 12 points in your last 5 games. Yeah, Marner.
Yeah.
I think, Matthews could, but the way Marner puts up assists is ridiculous.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay,
quick follow up on that.
Yeah.
Will Mitch finally get to 100 points for the first time in his NHL career, wet puck or dry stick? Currently at 72.
They've played 57 games, which means they have 25 games left.
Quarter of the season, just about.
And he needs 28 points. And he has 12 in his last 5.
I mean, it's
so you know what? I'll go wet puck.
He's been sniffing around it. He's been sniffing around the 100-point mark for it seems like every season for the last several. Just hasn't quite got there.
And he's playing on a line with the best goal scorer in the league.
Exactly. Who's on pace to crazy numbers. So yeah, I'm a wet puck too. I think for the first time, Marner in his career will hit the 100-point mark. The way the team's playing and the way he's putting up points, I see no reason why that wouldn't happen. So, okay, I'll go to a little Austin Matthews question here, Chad. I didn't know if you had one or not. Pretty simple stuff, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Just real simple, wet puck or dry stick. Austin Matthews will score 70-plus goals this season, wet puck or dry stick. 70-plus, not 65, not 69. Although,
if you get 69, that's the wettest puck you can have.
I would not have a problem with that. But the question is 70-plus for 34's mustache, wet puck or dry stick. 70-plus.
70-plus. You know what, man? I'm going wet puck. Because I see that mustache roaming around the ice. I've been watching that mustache since September of this year, and there is nothing that tells me he ain't blowing past 70 goals.
Dude, he's only 18 goals away from it. We still have all of March and half of April to go. This is a wet puck, folks.
And we said it last podcast.
Puck, okay?
Oprah's got some hat tricks in the bag for Austin. At least one more.
At least. He's only 18 goals away. Come on. He's going 70-plus. Yeah. He's going 70-plus. So 2 wet pucks there. All right, Chad, go ahead. Fire up another one.
All right, wet puck or dry stick, Dale. Your boy. You've loved him since the preseason. Simone Benoit.
I swear to God, I have this same question.
It might not be.
Maybe we should start going over these.
That's all right. It's just a fun game. with Gio coming back, and if the Leafs make a move, which they probably will for a depth defenseman, like Legason will come out when Gio comes back.
Yeah.
Is Simone Benoit coming out of the lineup for the Leafs, wet puck or dry stick?
Oh, so okay. Well, I'll throw my
like if they let's say they go get Lyubushkin, like they make a trade for defenseman. I think they're going to make a trade for a defenseman.
Yeah,
just a depth guy. Is Benoit the guy, or has he played himself into the lineup?
Okay, so
like, do you think he's coming out wet puck or dry stick?
Let me say what I had, and then we'll both answer. Okay, because it's very similar, but I would just went a little further than that. Our boy, Simone Benoit will be in the top 6 on the blue line to start the playoffs. So just a slight twist there. So is he coming out?
Yeah.
Dry stick. Is he in? For me, it's a dry stick. Is he in the top 6 to start the playoffs? Wet puck. Wet puck. What are your answers on those two questions? Is he coming out of the lineup, or is he in the top 6 to start the two slightly different variations?
I'm going dry stick. He ain't coming out of the lineup, and wet puck. If he keeps playing like this, wet puck, he's going to stay in the lineup. Although I will ask you this: no wet puck or dry stick, but just who does come out?
Honestly,
like Legason's going to come out, but
here's as of right now, here's what I think that they probably
you
will
think
do.
Gio?
Yes, I think they find someone to play with Morgan Riley in a trade. And I think Gio becomes the depth guy. And I have no problem with that. He's a 40-year-old guy. You can't be pushed. Will he play in the playoffs? Yes, he will. For sure. But to start the playoffs, I think he's the odd guy looking in or looking out or whatever. That's just my opinion. Like, I mean, I like Gio, but father time, right? Like you can't, I just he doesn't bring what he once did. So in a limited role, I wouldn't mind Gio in there, but I could see.
I'll tell you this: I'm Gio's age. I'm a little older than Gio, and I played hockey yesterday on the pond, and I'm feeling it today. So,
dude,
that's just how it goes.
Yeah, like could it potentially be Liljegren too? Possibly, but
maybe
if Liljegren and Brody, if Keefe decides to keep those two together, some Benoit and McCabe, I'm not touching, and then you find someone to play with Riley, and then you just kind of shuffle the deck there. I don't know. And then whatever, maybe Benoit does have a bad game and Gio gets in. Who knows? Or Liljegren, whatever. But to start.
But you're saying, dry stick, he's not the first guy on the list to come out of the lineup.
No, not for me.
He is written on the game sheet for game 1 of the playoffs.
I think so. That's what I personally think. And you agree?
Yeah, I agree, man.
Let us know.
Looking at the way the team's playing now, I'm not really changing anything. And
yeah, same here.
Gio's coming back, Yarncrock's coming back soon.
And Ben, I know they're probably going to add someone to play with Riley, but Benoit's the one guy back there that gives you something different. He gives you some, he's not a fucking animal, but he's not a pussy either. He's not afraid to lay a hit or take a hit or get in a scrap or even if he's going to get dummied, he'll still fight anyway.
That's what I love about him.
I know he doesn't care. So he just brings you something.
He's a character guy.
He big time is, man. He just brings you something that they don't have, and that's why for me, I keep him in there. He's not making terrible plays. He kind of keeps it simple, which is all you really need to do. So I have him in. Let us know if you're watching on YouTube, guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of how Benoit has played, and if you want him in the lineup going forward if they trade for a defenseman when Gio comes back or to start the playoffs. Would love to get your thoughts on that. I'm out of questions. Do you got one more?
I have one more.
Fire it away
for you, and I just kind of mentioned the guy. Wet puck or dry stick, Dale? Kelly Arncrock comes back off of injury, and Keefe says, sorry, bud, there's no room right now. Or does he, take out a Bobby McMahon?
No, not a Bobby McMahon.
Take out Ryan. Well, Ryan Reeves would probably be the guy to come out. Maybe Holmberg.
I think.
Or does he say, sorry, Kelly, until the wheels fall off, I don't have a spot for you right now.
Yeah, I'm not. For me, dry stick. No, I don't know how far away he is. Do you? How serious was he? Is he?
Well, they've been making roster moves, which kind of signals that they're making room for him to come back. Like it's been almost what, a month?
It's been a while.
He has a broken knuckle or a bruised knuckle.
I don't know.
Something like that. So it's, that injury's probably a month, 6 weeks maybe, but eventually he's coming back.
Okay.
And if the team's playing like this, where wet puck or dry stick, does he have a spot?
No, there's no room. There's no room for me right now. I don't think. But if things keep going like this, no, not right away. But they dip a bit, or somebody, like, there's obviously room for him. Somebody gets injured or something happens.
For sure.
But he's got to wait. He's got to wait.
Before this injury, he was a prominent guy in your lineup.
Yeah. No,
like he gets paid like a top 9 forward on this team.
Yeah.
But it's the way they're playing. Yeah,
it's a dry stick for me.
A dry stick.
Not right away. Not right away. Like, not if the lines continue to look good. Like, I don't know, like maybe they take Robertson out and they put him on the third line with McMahon and Tavares potentially. Like, I'm trying to see, do you want him on the fourth line? Like, I don't know. Camp, I like the fourth line. I thought they had another good game last night. Like Camp and Holmberg and Reeves. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing here.
Calle Jarnkrok, he can play a little bit of center, which does help his case, but more than likely he would be put on the wing. And he has 10 goals, 9 assists, 19 points in 46 games. Dick Robertson has 8 goals, 11 assists, 19 points in 39 games.
Yeah. Okay. So, my final thoughts on Jarnkrok are, I'm not putting him in immediately if this thing continues to look like how it's been looking. But
he does kill penalties too.
I think that they will find a spot for him eventually here. They lose 2 in a row, they lose 3 in a row, someone will come out, they will put him in.
Yeah.
Do you not think that probably is the most likely scenario?
Yeah. I think so.
He will find his way back in, I think, eventually. But as of right now, no, he's got to wait.
Yeah, and he wasn't that was a Dubas signing, right? The 4-year deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like Tree Living is like, well, I signed him, so you got to get him in the lineup.
No.
It's not his guy.
No. He Tree Living lost him from he traded for him when he was in Calgary, and then he was a UFA and Dubas signed him in Toronto. So
right. That's right. Yep.
Anyway. Yeah, man. So okay. We'll close the books on wet puck or dry stick. It's been a while since we've done that. We'll fire it up.
Maybe we'll have to talk to each other before, so we don't step on each other.
Like, almost every single one was the same there, which is interesting. But that's fine. That's fine. It doesn't matter. We both answer the questions anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It's just fun to say wet puck and dry stick a whole bunch of times.
Exactly. Play along at home, folks. No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
You know what wet puck reminds me of? Have you ever seen the SNL? You know the SNL skit, Soak the Cork?
Oh, cork soakers. Yeah, I love that. Oh, I love that.
That's what wet puck reminds me of, because when you're saying it, you kind of have to watch what you're saying.
Oh man,
but the cork soakers.
Jimmy Fallon and Horatio Sands.
Can you imagine? I soak his cork while he soak my cork.
Janet Jackson's in that sketch too,
yeah.
And they're asking questions. They're like, is it just all the males in your family that likes to soak corks?
Or no. Some of the females make a great cork.
He's like,
soakers.
No, my whole family cork soakers.
Chris Parnell's dressed and he's like kind of feminine. And he's like, I always thought I would be a good cork soaker. And he's like, when you walked in, I thought you'd be a good cork soaker.
Yeah. Absolutely brilliant sketch.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that, guys, and you're like, go to YouTube and Google and type in Saturday
SNL
Night Live cork soakers. It is one of the funniest sketches I've ever seen. It is so good.
Great.
But anyway, yeah, man. Okay, couple quick things. We'll get out of here. So Joseph Woll did return to game action on Friday night for the Toronto Marlies. They played the Laval Rockets, and he got peppered in his debut. He got basically no help.
None at all.
But he made 36 of 37 saves. So
and like big saves.
Oh, big saves. He looked like he hadn't. I know it's the AHL, whatever, but he was getting peppered in there. Like the traffic around him. I was watching highlights. I didn't watch
insane.
It live, but he was guys running him over left and right. Got first game back since November from a high ankle sprain, and he's getting run over. No help.
Like they're
crazy.
The defense was non-existent around him in that game.
No.
He looked good, and that'll give us a lot to talk about in upcoming podcasts when he finally gets back to the NHL. What's going to happen with Martin Jones? If he's going to get a start, and if he looks amazing, and Samsonov's playing well, that's a good problem to have. But who's going to get the ball?
Time. So 36 of 37 saves for Joseph Woll in his first game back with the Marlies. Will he play another game with the Marlies? I'm not 100% sure. Will he potentially get back up and maybe get one of the starts? Potentially Arizona on Thursday night. Should be interesting. No timeline, no definitive timeline on when he will get back into game action for the Leafs. But
there's no reason.
But it's on the horizon because
it's on the horizon. But
it's coming. It's coming.
But you can push off making the decision on the roster spot.
Yeah.
As well as you can kind of let Samsonov run for a while because
for sure,
for his confidence, just keep building his confidence up and up.
Fair enough. But I'd like to see like Waller get going too here because I think you're going to need them both potentially, and maybe Jones too. Like how many goalies did Vegas use last year? 3 or 4 to win the cup, right? So you might need all 3 of these guys involved for a deep run in the spring, and that's what we're hoping for here. Last thing I got, Chad, to wrap this puppy up on.
Yeah, baby.
Leafs prospect Easton Cowan absolutely tearing up the Ontario Hockey League. He is on a 26-game point streak for the London Knights, and that is the longest point streak in London Knights history. Leafs prospect Easton Cowan.
Wow.
Think about some of the players.
All the players that have played for the London Knights.
Corey Perry, Tavares, Kadri, Patrick Kane. Like I know I'm missing a bunch of guys, but
Mitch.
It's the Mitch, Domi, like it's a who's who of like the NHL runs through London big time. Yeah. So very impressive 26-game point streak. This kid just looks like a gamer. Can't wait to see him in the OHL playoffs. But I'm telling you right now, there's some things I would put in play at the deadline depending on what's available. For me, he's not one of them. I'm sorry. He's off the table. He's Tree Living's He's Tree Living's first draft pick. I highly doubt he wants to trade him. And to me, I look at this kid as like he's a gamer. I'm not dealing him. What do you think?
No, God, no.
No.
Would I deal him? No. I honestly, I wouldn't even give up the first round pick. If I'm doing anything, maybe a third, maybe a fourth round pick.
Yeah.
Maybe a guy that, throw in a guy that you don't think is ever going to play on your team anyway.
Yep.
But I'm not. Like we said it last podcast, look at the way this team's playing. Why make a move? Like, just take a chance with the guys you have. Like, you could go out and get someone. Is it going to be any better than Bobby McMahon? We don't know. Is it going to fuck with the chemistry? We don't know. So, yeah, Easton Cowan, no way.
Yeah, just wanted to go out on that because
I didn't know that. Longest in London Knights history.
26-game point streak. Longest point streak in
like
London
you said,
Knights history.
So many amazing.
I know. That's why I wanted to bring it up because
I don't know what the number is, but they've got to have like so many players who have won OHL scoring titles.
Oh,
which is to have that record of longest streak in franchise history for that team is crazy.
It is crazy. Yep.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's it, brother.
All right. Well, for the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, don't forget again, follow us on social media at the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Tip In Podcast, TikTok, Tip In Podcast, or Tip In Pod, Twitter. Email us tipinpodcast@gmail.com. Wherever you get the audio version of this podcast, if you can, leave us a 5-star review and a comment because it really helps us out. And until next time, I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
We will.
Hey, man, Vegas coming in on Tuesday night. Let's see if the Leafs can keep this thing going. Hopefully they can. Man, so impressive all around.
Vegas is they lost to Ottawa.
They did. They're a little banged in a shootout, though. They're a little
that scares me a little bit because one of these games they're just gonna break out.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens on Tuesday night. We'll be back to break it all down. Should be interesting. Hopefully the Leafs can just keep things rolling. Thanks for watching on YouTube, guys. Thanks for listening on the audio side. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really helps us out. Go Leafs, go, and we'll catch you later.